that we will be studying it in detail. And let's see if how much we can cover it for this class. And first, as we studied about the epidermal part in the last class, this one. Yeah, I think you must be remembering this. And in that, we have three layers, that is stratum corneum, then stratum granular, and stratum malpighian, then how they are working, how they are related to each other, and where they are present, that we have seen with this diagram. Okay, and the types of cells present in these layers are almost very much similar. Structurally they are very much similar to each other, but functionally they have different type of functions. Okay, and they are nothing but they just get transformed from one type of cells to another. That means these stratum corneum is formed just because of stratum granular cells, the one which are coming up later on. So after some time, these cells will become dead when they are coming towards the upper surface, and the newest, the youngest cells, the freshly formed cells are present over here. Okay, and because Malpighian is producing them. So definitely, if this layer is producing them, then the youngest, the fresh cells are present over here, and the corneum are the oldest, the dead cells. So that's why after washing and after scrubbing the skin, when the corneum cells are removed, and there is no harm in removing them. Okay, to certain extent there is no harm on scrubbing your skin and all that, but that doesn't mean that you should hurt your skin in with if suppose uh, the way it is shown on the television, that your skin should be glowing and all that. For that you should remove the dead cells. That doesn't mean that you should hurt your skin to obtain that new or fresh cells, that you should remember. Okay, so the thing we studied about epidermis, then we have the dermis, and other derivatives also, as we studied about the classification. Okay, so dermis is something which is uh, very uh, soft, and the one having so many things inside it. Let's see how we are going to discuss about dermis. I think you should keep your diagrams with you from your textbooks in front of you, so that you can relate whatever I am saying. Because here, whatever I will be writing, you can relate that part with your diagrams of your textbooks. And if you are referring some of the other books, then also the diagram may be same for the skin. I think one or two labeling may change, or some extra thing must be there. So if you are having any queries regarding that, do ask me after I finish this. Okay, so just see to this. Just hold on and give me 2 minutes. Fine. So, dermis, if we say, it is the inner layer. The first point you should remember that it is the inner layer, and it is a little bit thick in nature. Inner one, and comparatively thick than the epidermis. and it is completely filled with connective tissues. I think you must have studied about connective tissue the, when you were studying
This
something of,
areolar. We should
yes,
discuss it. Areolar.
areolar, adipose, and all that. You remember that?
Yes, miss. Yes, miss.
Fine. So connective tissue is having so many things in it. There may be the areolar part, there may be the adipose part also. Okay, and there are so many cells in them. There are so many fibers in them. So this region is comparatively filled with the elastic fibers. Uh, it has majority of it. Definitely, it do have that areolar portion and adipose portion also, but the elastic fibers are outnumbering the things. Okay, so this it is present over here. Then it is comparatively uh, very much strong. This layer is very much strong. That is tough, and it is comparatively very much flexible also, because I think you must be aware that the things which are elastic in nature, they have they hold the more strength as compared to those things who are rigid. The things which are rigid, they have the strength level comparatively lesser. Okay, that means let's take this object, that is pen. Because it's a rigid one, it's a solid one. So if I apply the pressure on this, then at some after some point it will bear that pressure for some time, but after some time what will happen, it will break down. Okay, but if this one is the elastic one, suppose let me take up this on my finger, and if this one is the elastic one, I can turn it to certain extent, and it will not break, because if I am applying the force, it will not break down. Definitely you should not go beyond the limit, then it definitely it will not work. But the flexibility is related to the strength of the any particular tissue, if you see. Okay, so the dermis is very much tough. That means it holds the good type of strength, because it is very much flexible in nature. And why it is flexible? The first thing, it is flexible because it holds so many parts of the skin. That means like hair, the other types of glands, and all that. It is holding them, and this dermis is uh, wherever it is means the its presence makes your skin soft, or very much favorable for the movement. I will just give you the example that this dermis is have the variation of the thickness and the softness at many of the places. That means it is very much thick. That means it is little bit solid on the solid part. If you come towards your palm or your soles and all that, or even the elbows, if you see your elbow part and all that, or your knee part, it is comparatively thicker, but it has to be flexible, and it has to be on the thinner side also. Like it is very much thin at the eyelids. Okay, and below your lips, where your lips has that fleshy region, and after that it should have a flexibility for the movement and all that. So below the lips also it is comparatively thin. And if you see, even here also the nail, wherever it is present, so here also the thickness of the dermis will change as compared to the other parts. Okay, so the dermis is having a lot of variation in its size, in its thickness. This is what is happening with the dermis. It changes. It changes wherever it should have some flexibility and all that. If you go towards the body parts which are your innermost body parts, like your reproductive regions, okay, so there the dermis is little bit it's comparatively more flexible as compared to your outer skin, that you can observe or you can relate when you are relating this part. So this is how the dermis can be the very much having so many differences. Okay, now this dermis is full of blood vessels. It have lot of blood vessels in it. It have lot of nerve fibers in it. Okay, it have so many follicles for hair and all that. It is full of glands. It is full of hair follicles and all that. So it holds so many things inside it. Okay, and this dermis, just below the epidermis, wherever the epidermis is ending, and when the dermis is getting started, at this region, at this region, it have a type of you can say a small processes in it. Okay, here processes means extensions. Some type of extensions are present, and these extensions are called, basically they are commonly named as papillae. So these papillae will be responsible for holding the give the exposure to the blood vessels and the nerve endings. That means if you get hurt, if you get hurt on your skin, if you get an injury on your skin and it reaches to this level, then only the blood flow will start. Okay, so it consists of so many blood vessels. It consists of so many I will say with this nerve endings. Okay, so these are responsible for identifying the senses like touch or even the pain, pressure. If you feel the heat, cold, anything, somebody is around you, that part is also being sensitized by these nerve endings and all that. They are so very sensitive, very much active portion of your dermal portion. Okay, and the thing is, uh, whenever you have the sensations, whenever you have the type of the thing, we can say that when you sense anything like the touch or something like that, so these nerve endings are present in a huge number. Like, they have so many clusters present over there. So these because it has to present over here just below when the epidermis is ending and the dermis is getting started. So they are present over here so that they can identify even the smallest type of anything which is causing you or stimulating you something with the called, if we say, called stimulus or the sense. Okay, so that is what you have to identify. So the thing is, I think you must be aware that even the tip of the pin, okay, how you can imagine the surface area having the tip of the pin, uh, the one which is just pinch you like this, and even that region where the tip has pinched you, that region have hundreds of nerve endings at that place. So that is why it is uh, much more painful, and you can uh, uh, the thing is, when you compare, if I hold something which is very thick and I press it, it is comparatively less less painful as compared to the touch of tip of the pin. The reason is because less surface area holds so many nerve endings over there, and it all of them just gather the whole sense when the tip of the pin touches you. And when you do this with the thicker thing or something which is having a large uh, surface, when you press it, then the pain is comparatively less, because less, I will say, it will comparatively the thing you can hold for some more time as compared to the pin. The reason is, when you do this, then the sense will be spreaded to so many nerve endings, and that's why it can identify and it can hold for some more time as compared to the pin. Understood this? Is it clear?
Yes, miss. Miss,
Yes, dear.
miss, I've seen that. Miss, I've seen and miss read somewhere that the fingers they are more sensitive than the other parts of the body. Miss, why is that so?
Because first of all, if you that basically fingers, if you say, it's a tip of fingers are very much sensitive to any other part. The reason is because uh, uh, when you just means whenever the baby is having a birth, and whenever it comes out of the mother body, the first thing that come in the contact is the fingers. Wherever you have to feel the touch, or you have to do, see, if I give you the mug filled with a coffee, will you hold it directly? No, you will just poke your finger to it, and you will try to identify that is it comfortable to touch it or not. So that the reason, because here nerve endings are spreaded uh, in this particular area, the surface area is too less, but the nerve endings are huge in number, so they can identify the any type of sense very sharply as compared to the other parts. Is it clear to you?
Yes, miss. Okay, miss.
Okay.
Okay, yes, miss.
So even if we say the people who are blind, they will try to identify the things with the tip of the fingers only, because these are the areas having so many nerve endings in them, and they can identify the things very easily as compared to the other parts. If you touch something like this, then the identification becomes a little bit harder as compared to the tip of fingers. Through tip of fingers, what you can do, you can identify even the shape, you can identify even the texture. So many things come up simultaneously when the tip of fingers are examining the things. Is it clear to you?
Yes,
Okay. Any other doubt?
miss. No, miss. Not now, miss.
Fine. So the thing is, let me tell you this, that sensitivity of the skin. If I say tip of the skin, if you say your skin is also very much sensitive, the region, suppose like if you go just behind your ear, that region is also very much sensitive, okay, to the touch. If we say something about sensations, okay, and that's why teachers try to hold your ears first of all, because they can give you a lot of pain, okay. So that region is also very much sensitive. And if you come up with the sensation, then the region in your neck, the skin at your neck, you can feel that if somebody is tingling you, then you can feel that you will just try to cover that region with your face and shoulder, and stopping that particular individual for not doing it, because that region is also very much sensitive. So it is a comparative. If you go for some regions of the skin, they are very much sensitive, and some people are. It depends on person to person also. You may have seen that some people are very much sensitive to the. If you just go and do the tingling sensations to them, they will start dancing just by a simple thing if you do. But some people will be very rigid. You just poke your finger and try to do that, they will not even move. So it depends on person to person also, that how much sensitive they can be. Is it clear to you? Got the idea? Right. So this is the you can say yes or no. It will be easy for me to understand. So we have
Yes, miss. And nobody else is answering, miss, as well.
it's okay, it's okay, fine. So we have one girl also in the class, right? She is not there today. Just Apurva, Ishan, and Supratim. Three are there. Fine. I'm just watching out for attendance. Okay, fine. So let's see this. We will go for the derivatives now. We have derivatives of skin. Okay. So derivatives of skin are hair, nails, glands, that we will be seeing right now. And what do you mean by the word derivative actually? Derivative means they are derived from the skin only. Okay, that means the skin is modified at that place, and for the special structures, and that is why they are called derivatives of skin. They have the special feature, they have the special place in the dermal and epidermal region. So that is why that is they are called derivatives of skin. They are derived from the skin. They will not grow at any other place uh, if skin is not there. So for their presence, for their production, and for their formation, skin has to be there. That means epidermis and dermis has to be there, then only these derivatives will arrive on your body. Is it clear to you? So let's see. First, we will start with the hair, very important one. And I think nowadays young generation is very much concentrated on their hair. Especially, I've seen the students who will style up their hair in different types, and they have a good type of hairs, and they will apply so many things to make to style them and all that. Definitely it's a good thing, but exposure to so many chemicals can at that time it may seem it's very good, but after some time it may lead to some harm also. So just see to it that if you are doing this, you are, yeah, because you are studying this thing, and you are aware of each and every part when you are studying. So you should know that exposure can lead to the harm to till what extent it goes. Okay. And it's not bad if you are doing all these things. It's not a bad thing to do. All every individual does that. Okay, so it's a good one. And I have seen, especially I have seen that boys are much more sensitive to about their hairs as compared to the girls, because they don't even like somebody keeping their hand on their head. They will not allow the, because if somebody ruffles their hair, then suddenly they will try to clear it up and make it proper again. So that's why I see that hair is a very important derivative of the skin. And especially if you are talking about the one which is on your head, that is very important, because it can give you the proper it all your looks and all that. It depends on this particular derivative of the skin. So let's see, it have three important parts. That is, first, the one which comes out, that is called shaft. Okay. And the one which holds it, that is root. And at the end you have the one which is called bud. Okay. So hair shaft, hair root, hair bulb are very important thing. And I in television, I think you must have seen the advertisements that any hair product, like you, whether you compare conditioners or shampoos or some gel or some anything, they will definitely show you the structure of the hair and how it is working out. So we, as we have drawn in this here also, that how it is present, and this is how it is working out. So let's see hair shaft, root and bulb, what they do, and at till what extent they have these type of structure is maintained. So the thing is, this region is the one which makes this hair derivative of the skin to lead to its formation. Okay, so the one which comes out is called shaft, and the one which is below, which goes inside, that is called root, and that is embedded. Suppose if it is embedded from here, then this portion is called root and embedded in dermis. It goes under the dermis. Then you have the bulb, okay, and this bulb is present over here, and this covering which is present like this, it gives the structure called follicle. And hair bulb and hair follicle, both of them should be present, then only your hairs will elongate. It will lead to the elongation. Damage to this region can for lead to the, that means your hair will not grow very fast and all that. Okay, so follicle and bulb are very important. You may have seen that some people go completely bald. You can't even trace a single hair on their head. The reason is that their they have destroyed everything. That means bulb is destroyed, follicle is destroyed, nothing is there. So you cannot have a hope of the growth of hair later on, or something like that may happen. But the if you go to the barber and if you shave your head, then only this much part is being removed. So what happened that this will again add some few cells in it, and new cells will be giving rise, and your shaft will come out. Is it clear to you? Understood? Should
Yes, miss.
continue? Have you slept, beta? Supratim and Ishan, what happened to you? It's a sleepy morning or something like that? Nothing. No response. I just don't know you people are there or not. Fine. So that's a privilege of technology. Uh, Hopefully you are there, and if you are not there, then also it's good. Fine. So let's see this about this hair part and hairs. See, presence of hair on the skin is very important thing. Okay, uh, because whenever somebody just is not touching your skin and they are just moving their hand just above your skin, and that also sometimes is getting sensed by your nerve endings. You know that that and the whole credit goes to the presence of hair. I think you must have experienced this, that if you are sitting on an open garden and if you keeping your hand like this on a grass and all that, sometimes a small ant or some small insect will just come up on your hand and they will start walking on your skin surface. They are sometimes they are so small that you cannot even see them, but suddenly you have the tendency or you have that your response will be you will suddenly shake your hand that something is there, something is walking on my hand. So you will shake your hand and you will try to remove that. Have you experienced it?
Miss, can you please repeat? Miss could not understand. Miss, what you told.
Okay, fine. I said that sometimes if you are walking in a garden or sitting in an open place, I said that sometimes there may be the possibility that a small insect or small ant or something like that walks on your hand, just climb over your hand, and without even seeing that what is there, you have that sensation that something is walking on it on your skin, and you will try to shake your hand to remove whatever is there. Have you experienced it?
Yes, Miss.
Okay,
Miss
and
and
that
Miss,
yes dear.
Miss, and even sometimes what happens is that when too many insects sit on when certain conditions do have some
Yeah,
we have sometimes that conditions, and what happens is that the skin reacts abnormally. Miss, sometimes I feel that there's an insect crawling, but still it's not there.
it's not there. Yes, yes, that's a mental tendency that because whatever sensations you are having, they have some part of memory in your brain. Okay, so sometimes there may be the possibility that nothing is must be there, but you feel like that something is walking on your skin. Okay, and that sensation comes just because of the presence of hair on your skin. That the insect which is too small, you can't see even through your eyes, that means you have to look for it very sharply, then only you can identify, oh fine, this is there. But sometimes it is too small that you just try to remove the thing from your surface, and the whole credit goes to the hairs present on your skin, because without absence of hair will not give you that sensation. Understood? So that is why presence of hair is very important. So this the you should remember that the people who don't have hairs on their skin, they have less sensation as compared to those who are having more hairs on their skin. Okay, so that is very important. And you can even see that difference on your body itself, that if something is walking on our palm because no hairs are here, and something which is walking over here, definitely it will be much more sensitive as compared to this one. If something is walking on this, that will not give you much sensation as compared to this surface. Is it clear to you?
Okay, miss.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Now you may ask me that, ma'am, what about the sole? What about the surface which is present just after the feet? Okay, just after your leg ends. At that region, you have very much sensitive skin. That means if somebody even touches there, you feel that tingling sensation, because their nerve endings are comparatively much more exposed, and much more they are present in huge number. That's why the feet, the sole part is comparatively much more sensitive as compared to your palms. So that's the this is how the our skin have so many differences when you sense out the things. Is it clear to you? Right, so see to this. Then we have let's talk about, then you have so many I think you must have experience of having goosebumps or something like that. Goosebumps are nothing but just your hairs will suddenly stand erect, the whatever present on your surface of skin, they will just stand like this for some time, and after some time they will have that they will just fall down and they will become normal. They are called goosebumps. Due to fear, due to temperature difference, there may be the possibility it comes up, or due to the excitement also. Sometimes it may happen. Excitement, like if you are having something like your results and all that, so you may have that feeling of having the goosebumps. Or if you're watching a horror movie or some thing happens, if it is very scary, then also goosebumps will be can be seen on your skin. Understood? So they are just these are the uh, property of the skin, you can say. Or this is how our nervous system is so sensitive that it can even sense out the things which is not even touching you. Okay, the movie, the ghost is not touching you, still you have that goosebump type of feeling. So this is what is the thing, it works on uh, the way you watch the things, the way you feel the things, then also the hair shows the movement. So you have hairs at so many different parts of your body. Like the first, the one which is the very foremost one is your head. Then you have your underarms. Then you have your underlying regions, reproductive areas. Okay. Then your hands, your legs. So the type of hair may also differ as per the location wherever they are present. And the color of the hair is also depends upon the pigmentation, the type of pigmentation your skin is having. Similarly, the pigmentation is there in your hairs also, and it may change with your age, it may change with your diet, it may change with your physical fitness, or if you are under some uh, medicines or something like that, then also it have the effect on the hairs. Hairs are the one which is having the which shows the which shows the first response whenever you have the side effects of suppose if you are having a different type of medicines, then hairs are the one which will show you the most primary response from their side. They will start falling, or they will have some texture change or something like that may happen. So you can identify that there is something wrong is going on inside your body. Understood this? Is it clear? Supratim and Ishan, are you there? Just give me the response. Otherwise, leave the meeting if you are not there. I don't know what these people are doing. Okay, so this is what is about hairs. Then you have the second derivative that is called nail. Okay, very important one, and it is also having three regions, that is plate, then you have bed, then you have matrix. Okay, so if this is the finger, if you see and you see the growth of hairs, nail like this, then some people, you can see that if this is the region, the one which is coming out of your skin surface, I don't have big nails, so just manage this, that the one which is coming out, that is called plate, and the one which is attached to the skin over here, that is called bed, and this region is called matrix. Okay. Okay, Ishan, I got your message. Fine, your mic is not working. Fine, the thing is plate, bed and matrix. Okay, and now see to this that this matrix is the region on some people hand. If you see, you can watch your nails also when you are studying them. On some people nails you can see that there is a different coloration at this region, and it has some half moon like structure also, some semicircle thing you can see. I don't have that very clear. Okay, and but in some people it is too small, it ends up here only, and in some people you can see it comes out like this, just form a dome like structure, you can see that. So that may be it's a difference, just it doesn't make any harm, or there may be the possibility that people have different sizes of that. And this is what you have to observe, that these nails are the all these derivatives of skin, whatever you are studying, especially nail and hair, they are very much, they are the signals of your health. See, if your nails are not shining the way it should shine, it should give you a shiny texture when you are moving them. If they are not shining, that means your diet is not good. Okay, you have to work upon your diet. If your hairs are not having a proper luster, or if your hairs are not even showing a good thing, that means you are not having the healthy system. You, something is not going good in your body. So hairs and nails are the signals that what type of health you are having. So your nails, if they are not shiny, if they are broken somewhere, if they have cracks on them, then it's a sign that you should look upon your health and you should go for some diet changes and all that. So just remember this. I think this is not written in your book. Just you should know that this is why the derivatives of skin are so important. Okay, and just I think if you are having your textbooks with you, I think there is a printing mistake in your textbook. Just see to it. I think this nail portion, it is somewhere on the lowest portion of your page. I don't remember the page number. Just can you let me know that? Are you referring to your textbook? If you read that nail portion, there is a printing mistake. I want you to correct that part. Just let me know the page number so that I can make the corrections over there. I don't have a book with me.
Miss, what correction?
Can you have the paragraph of a nail with you? You have it? Page number is?
Miss, wait, Miss Nails. Miss, page number 130.
Okay, fine. At 130, I think nail is mentioned at is starting at the lowest on the bottommost part of your page. Am I right?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. In that
Yes,
you
Miss.
have a printing mistake. I think after they have given you. Can you read it?
Miss gets
I don't
clugged, Miss
remember
is
the
given.
exact.
Clugged. Okay, Miss, reading, Miss. Nails are hardened, keratinous plate-like structures which grow as dead cells from the nail root, which lies below the skin at the base. When an
Okay.
open pore in the skin gets clogged with dead skin
Okay.
cells.
Okay.
Clogged, Miss, it should be. Yes, Miss. Tell
No,
Miss.
this line has to be removed. When a open pore from that portion, when an open pore till it ends, like I think it is ending at somewhere, some black head or something like that.
Yes, Miss. Yes, Miss.
Just remove that line. Whole statement is wrong. Okay.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, because that this statement has to be given in the uh, this sebaceous gland or something like that. There you have to study this. So this statement has to be there. I think for it's by mistake it's printed over here, so it doesn't have any relation with the nail part. Okay. So just with your pencil, just remove that line. Okay. So this is what you have to see about nail. So nail and hair, definitely when you talk about the something which is coming out of this epidermal, the one which comes out like shaft and all that, the shaft region, this plate region, all of them are dead. That's why you can have that removal of this part after it grows it outgrows a little bit, then
Yes,
you
Miss.
can
Yes, Miss.
remove this. You don't feel pain on removing it. You don't feel pain on cutting the hair from here. So because this much region is called dead, and they don't have any sense nerve endings and all that, blood vessels, anything is not there, so they are all dead tissues. So that's why you can uh, cut them, and regularly you can remove them whenever they are outgrowing. So that is what important is. But here they are leaving, the tissues present on this region are leaving. That's why if somebody just pull your hair, then you feel the pain, because it is the pain is coming over here, that's why you have the pain. And if somebody in your school, I think kids are doing, they will just press over here, and you will feel the pain, because this much region is leaving. The one which is dead is only the one which is coming out, or which outgrows. Understood this? So you will definitely have a pain over here. So the whole nail is not dead. Only the growth, extra growth, is the having a dead cells. Understood this?
Okay, Miss. Miss, continue.
Hmm. Then you have glands. The one you have the sebaceous gland, then you have sweat glands. Sorry. Sweat glands. Okay, so uh, sebaceous glands are very active glands because they have a very important secretions, that is oily secretions are coming out of it. Okay, and that is called sebum. Sebum. Okay, so sebum is coming out of it, and they are present everywhere, even your scalp, the head region, on your face, on everywhere, wherever is the skin covering is there, sebaceous glands are there, and the thing is they are responsible for the oily secretions that keeps your skin moist, and the it keeps your skin soft. Okay, and this secretions are the whatever, suppose if I take up the scalp region, your head region, if these are oily secretions are produced, after coming out it will get dried up as when it comes in contact with the air, so it gets dried up and that leads to the formation of dandruff. Okay, so dandruff is nothing but the because of these oily secretions are getting deposited on your scalp, and that the reason after some time it will get dried and it will form a layer layer and layer formations must be there, and that is what is the dandruff is. Okay, so it all depends on the sebaceous gland, that how much secretion it is giving out. So in some people it is very much active, sensitive, and this is what, and these have relations with the your DNA also, that in suppose the whole uh, your parents and grandparents and all of them are having that dandruff problem, then definitely you will maybe having. So it all depends on genetically also, that what type of secretions are produced. So everywhere wherever there is some the anything which you dislike is comes from this sebaceous gland, like your pimples, your acne, and your blackheads. Blackheads are nothing but this sebum, where when it comes out of your skin, especially your nose and all that, on your cheeks, and when it comes out it turns black. On your scalp it is white, on your nose it is black. So on your scalp, your dandruff is white in color, and on the nose it becomes black. That's why blackheads are formed. So on your television, you must have seen all these advertisement. They are showing that how to remove them and all that. But the thing is, if this gland is working a lot, then nothing can help you out. Definitely, it will control for some time, but it will not like it will finish it completely. Okay, so oily secretions, everything, whatever you dislike, you can uh, list out: dandruff, pimples, acne, or you can say like blackheads, whiteheads. There are so many things on the skin happens. So all these bad things are just because of the production of the sebaceous gland. And definitely this gland is not bad. It is very much important for us. Okay, but the thing is that because it oozes out every impurity from your body, and it just have the exposure of the skin to ooze out all these things, and that is the reason you are required to wash your face and hairs regularly. Understood? So that is what the sebaceous gland is doing, and secretion is called sebum, and it have a different type of nature from wherever it is being produced. So that is what important is. Then you have two types of glands, that is one, if I write, it has meibomian gland. It's a modification of sebaceous gland. Okay, that means sebaceous glands have a modification. The way your bikes get modified, a simple Hero Honda bike gets modified and becomes a one racing bike. Similarly, sebaceous gland is very much uh, active, and it modifies itself. So when it modifies itself, this particular meibomian gland are present on the eyelids, because your eyelids has to be moist. I think in the winter season you must have felt some type of pain on your eyes, on the skin of your eyes. The reason is these glands are not having a good amount of secretion, and that leads to the dryness of the eyes. There may be the possibility. So meibomian gland is responsible for that. These sebaceous glands are modified, and they are protecting your eyelids. They are protecting the your tears, that your tears will not suddenly flow out of your eyes. Because of these glands, they will protect the tears inside them. Okay. So so that is the modification of the sebaceous gland. And there is another modification, that is ceruminous gland, and that is present inside your ear, your inner ear. I think you are aware of auditory canal. You have production of cerumen wax. That wax is just the production of sebaceous gland. Okay, so these two glands are the modification of sebaceous gland. Just remember that they are nothing but the sebaceous glands only. Just they are modified due to their locations. Okay, so these are the glands you should aware of. Then you have uh, uh, sweat glands. Sweat glands are responsible for perspiration, for sweating, and all that. Okay, very important, because they are first physical, I will say, along with your skin, because your skin is helps out you for protecting from so many things. So they are also the physical barrier, creates a physical barrier for your for the many of the germs and all that, for many of the I will say microorganisms, because sweating is having a alkaline pH. Okay, they are towards the salt, because it have only a water plus salt. Sweats are having that, and presence of salt can kill the germs. So sweating is very important, and those who don't sweat, it is not a good sign. They are not the healthy people. The people who sweat are the healthy one. So remember that part. Yeah, definitely over sweating is there for some people. You may have seen that their shirts become wet and all that, that is happening. That is the reason, because they have the sweat glands comparatively much more in number as compared to the others. There may be the possibility. And the sweat glands at different region, like your underarms or your underbody parts, are they are present comparatively. The number is more as compared to the other parts of body. And you must be surprised that your palm is having a huge number of sweat glands are present on them. That's the reason when you are nervous, the your palms become moist. Have you experienced it? Have you experienced that your palms become moist when you are nervous, when you are having your results or something very surprise the thing is coming out in front of you? Then definitely you have that tendency to rub your palms. Have you experienced it? I think You are aware of this sweat glands then? Fine. Okay. Uh, the thing is, these sweat glands are, you are aware of sweating and perspiration. So it may change with your geographical location also. Those who are living in hot climate, they have more sweat glands as compared to the people living in the colder climate. That means activity of the sweat glands will depend on what type of location you are present. Okay, then you have modified one more gland of this sweat glands, that is mammary glands. These mammary glands are present in both male and female. Okay, and definitely they are active in females as compared to the males, because after puberty they will outgrow, they will show a definite type of growth in females. And when a woman delivers a baby, at that time, due to presence of some hormones, they will start production of milk. Okay, so they are very much a sensitive one in females as compared to the males. In males, they don't have such type of function. They don't have to produce something. They don't have the that they have a limited growth. Okay, so they will not go to after some extent. They will just go to rudiment nature. They will have, but in females they will show you the sign of the puberty also. And after the delivery of a baby from a female, they will start have the production of milk. And you may be surprised, you can see the miracle of nature, that how much nature is sensitive to each and everything, that as soon as the baby is delivered out, the mother will start giving out the milk. Okay, so that is what the beauty of the nature is, that even the nature understand that the baby is hungry, and it should be provided with something which is coming out of mother only. So uh, for the whole life, till the whole life, the milk will not be there in the mammary glands of the females. Till the whole pregnancy, milk will not come out of the mammary gland. The moment the baby is getting delivered, then only the milk is being secreted from the mammary glands. That is how it works. Is it clear to you?
Yes, miss.
Okay, fine. So that's all for today. And then we have the functions of the skin and all that, that we will be doing in next class. That will be finishing of your chapter. And if you till here, just read your books. If you have doubts, do ask me. Okay. So you can leave the meeting. Have a good day.